Time now for the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to start with the good. Taylor Swift to the rescue. The singer apparently moved after seeing this story of a Texas firefighter who responded to a car crash and then found his own wife and son injured. So check out Aaron Van Ripper's GoFundMe page. Taylor Swift making a $15,000 donation to him and to his family to help with their medical bills.
Up next, the bad. A North Carolina woman never learned that patience is a virtue. She actually flooded out this hospital using a lighter near the sprinkler system, all because she said the ER wait was too long.
Wow. All right, finally, the ugly. It was her big royal moment. This little 6-year-old, how cute. Her name's Maisie. She's meeting the Queen Elizabeth in Wales, but she was outshined by this. Oh, the soldier accidentally whacking her in the head, sending her hat flying off. The Queen was unfazed, and Maisie, she's going to be just fine.
If the GOP wants to win back the White House, does it matter whether the nation's biggest celebrities always seem to support Democrats? We know Hollywood's going to put big money behind Hillary Clinton, and this month George Clooney pledged to do whatever he can to help her win, and a lot of other celebrities are joining in, like Lena Dunham posting on Instagram that she's with Hillary every step of the way, and Magic Johnson on Twitter declaring she'll be a great president. Clinton's also got the upper hand on Women's Magazine. She's been on the cover of Vogue many times. And Marie Claire's editor-in-chief says her magazine's thrilled that Hillary's in the race. Now, Greg, let me ask you, since we know that Hollywood will always support Democrats, do Republicans need to do what they can either to neutralize some of that support or just factor it into their thinking?
They have to factor it into their thinking. We know that they are as lockstep as a robot centipede, which is, I always find it's so contradictory that this is an industry that prides itself on being iconoclastic or rebellious or edgy. You look at just the idea of the romantic film hero always being kind of on a motorcycle. But in the reality, the actor is really dull and boring, and they do exactly what you think they will. This is a long game for conservatives. It's going to take decades. The media and entertainment industry are liberal because liberals tend to gravitate towards that industry the same way conservatives might get into finance or business. However, those guys are generally apolitical until they realize how liberal the media is. When the media starts painting them as jerks, and then all of a sudden your eyes open up and everybody starts becoming Republicans later in life. But once the curtain is pulled back, this is a game that we have to play. We don't want to play it, but we have to play it, and it's going to take decades before we infiltrate and take over the culture. But we got to do it.
I do think that at the end that they will, that most of Hollywood, Eric, will support the Democrat, no matter who it is. Despite even things like just now, this just broke by the Associated Press announcing that Bill Clinton had a company that was a private secret company within Teneo Holdings called WJC, William J. Clinton, LLC, which basically was hiding money that he was getting, basically a pass-through that didn't have to show up on her financial disclosure. Like, there is nothing that the Clintons could do that could shake the support from Hollywood.
Yeah,
right?
Hollywood's behind them 100%, but there's no surprise. By the way, this LLC, the way it looks to me, Dana, and it's a brief reading through the write-through, is that it was an LLC set up so that Bill Clinton could take money from whomever he wanted to for speaking engagements, so they can sign their check however they want. It would hit the LLC, and then they would pay him directly. The LLC would pay him, and then he could declare whatever money he got from the LLC on his taxes, and it looks like the LLC was paying Bill Clinton rather than maybe a foreign government or a company in a foreign government that we didn't necessarily want to be doing business with, so that wouldn't associate the Clintons with that country or company. So maybe there's probably a lot more there than we know right now. Hollywood, back to Hollywood. Yeah, of course they're going to support her. These women's magazines, by the way, 50 million readers a month. That is some number, but it just proves that the Republican has to be that much better, because it will always, those 50 million will always go to the Democrat. And when the Republican that is going to win the White House, whoever that may be, has all these hurdles. But that stuff, that liberal bias is baked into the cake from Hollywood. It's baked into the cake from the media as well.
Well, and women's magazines supporting Hillary, this is not a new phenomenon. I get all the magazines at my apartment. I flip through and have to throw them in the trash halfway through because I cannot believe just how biased they are. But then every once in a while you get a note from one of them saying, hey, we need a conservative. Would you mind going up against Eva Longoria? I mean, it's kind of bizarre. But, I mean, the Democrats have the women's magazines locked up.
Well, because the woman is running as a Democrat, right? I mean, if Carly Fiorina were the nominee from the Republican side, I'm not sure whether that would be different. Look, women's magazines, I don't know.
Come on,
I mean, look,
Julie.
I will say this. Look, and I think part of it is the same reason that I'm supporting Hillary Clinton. It's not because of the ethics, and it's not because of the AP article. It's because on the issues that I care about, and not just women's issues, she's more in step with me, and I suspect with the readership of these women's magazines than somebody like a Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush or people like that. So, of course, they'll be more supportive of her or of other Democrats, primarily because they probably believe, as I do, that she's better on the issues that they care about than the Republicans.
I don't know about that. I think there's a gender bias that exists. And like, we want Hillary Clinton, we want a Democrat. I don't know that they would even give, fair analysis and honest analysis to say whether or not someone like Marco Rubio or whether or not a Carly Fiorina would actually be more suitable and better for the country and women in general. I think there's
let's be honest. If Martin O'Malley,
intellectual laziness.
If Martin O'Malley, the Democrat former governor of Maryland, were to become the nominee and Hillary Clinton was out of the picture and Carly Fiorina was the Republican nominee, who do you think, Greg, the women's magazines would support?
This isn't
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think what we're seeing here, though, we're seeing a victory of the feminist movement in making abortion the real key issue. And I think what you're saying, Julie, in code is that nobody working for a magazine or a liberal woman is ever going to consider a Republican candidate if they are pro-life. I think that's kind of what it is.
No.
But what other issue would there be?
Oh, my goodness. Paid family leave, something that I think a lot of women care about, including me, for that matter. Mm-hmm. Health care. I mean, a whole host of issues that
Republicans do actually care about health care. They just don't care about government-run health care.
Well, and there is no government-run health care.
They don't
It's interesting, though, because like on family leave. So if you follow Stephen Hayward at Powerline, which I suggest everyone do, he had an interesting post today about a study looking at all the different countries that have enforced family leave in their countries. And in places like Spain, what has that meant over the past 10, 15 years? Women have fewer full-time opportunities. They're actually, in Chile, is more problems. In Sweden, there are more problems. And he just goes through, and it's just an analytical, scientific viewpoint of the data. But I still don't think, Eric, that anyone's going to actually look at the true economics of it. It's just more emotional. And I think Republicans just have to accept that.
So, and Julie, but that's what they're doing. That's what Hillary Clinton realizes she has. She has the opportunity to have all those issues, all the culture issues, the gender issues, the gay marriage, the abortion, and she can put those front and center because a white male Republican can't compete with that. He shouldn't go there for that. So therefore, they have a 50 million potential voter audience right there, and they can cater directly to it. It's smart politics.
But listen to what I just said to you. I firmly believe that the reason I'm supporting Hillary Clinton, again, it has nothing to do with ethics. It has nothing to do with anything else. It's not that I think a woman is better than a man for the office. I don't. I think it's up to the individual. It's because on the issues
of paid leave,
not paid
That's
leave.
What you're gonna vote for Hillary Clinton.
No, it's not paid leave. It's
Bill
100 other
Clinton
issues.
may have been hiding speaking engagements from countries that are completely violating human rights
for women
in particular.
He may have.
But you're going to look the other way on that for paid leave?
First of all, wait a second. I'm going to look at the other way on that if it's true, which, by the way, there's no evidence of that, so let's not ascribe to him.
No.
But Eric,
it's not even a question.
Let me ask you a question,
They've done speeches in countries that have violated human rights and women's rights.
Fine. You know what? I'm voting for somebody who I think is going to make my life better and the lives of my friends better. And to that extent, I think she's the better candidate versus the other people running on the Republican side. You obviously don't agree. You obviously think of Marco Rubio or Jeb Bush or whoever is going to make your life better than Hillary Clinton.
I don't know
That's why you're supporting him.
I don't know that I've declared that. I'm just for
why not vote for and support somebody that cares about men's lives too, not just women?
Men's lives too. I think she's better. I think she's better on issues about everybody.
I care about smaller government. I care about fewer taxes, and I care about less regulation and allowing the free market to be free and really prosper.
And that's why,
because that's the only way. When we grow and we prosper, that's that makes lives of people better at every level of the income spectrum.
Okay, but that's why you're supporting not Hillary Clinton, right? That's why you're supporting somebody else.
Right.
You and I disagree on that, and that's why I'm supporting her, not because she's a woman.
And this is a serious question. And it doesn't bother you on like the main issues that she has already in like a month, she's changed her position on crime, immigration, trade, like a lot of the economic things, but yet supporting the Exim Bank, which is against like what she thought about on trade. I mean, you're just comfortable with all that?
Listen, is she my ideal candidate? Is this the person that I would say this is the ultimate best person? But you got to look at it not in a vacuum. You've got to look at it from the perspective of who's she running against. And I truly don't think that the people that she's running against are going to be better for the country. That's my point of view on that.
The one thing the GOP has to do is they have to define who they are, not just who they're up against. And I think what we're here is like what could unify a country rather than divide people by gender or orientation or race, and that is focusing on protecting the freedoms that allow us to live our lives safely and free and allowed to whoever we want to marry and whatever we want to do. By focusing on national security, the world's a mess, and the Republican Party will offer you a real, honest-to-God force field against the dangers around the world. We don't care who you sleep with anymore. We don't care what you smoke in the privacy of your own home. We care that you are safe and prosperous. That rises above all the gender and all the race and all of that. By national security is the only way to go for the Repubs.
But Greg, you have an interesting you say that because there's a Gallup poll that just came out. 60%, this crosses party lines, support same-sex marriage as an issue.
What he just said.
You're talking about
That's not the biggest issue
and what I don't, it's not. But what I don't
facing the country.
It's not. But if you listen to some Republican candidates out there, to them it is the biggest issue facing the country.
And I agree
and that's
with you.
a mistake for them.
You've got to choose your battles, and you have to understand that time has moved on, and you don't go around defending the Duggar family when you've got bigger issues going on.
I agree. But you do have Republican candidates who are out there doing that. And you ask me why I'm supporting Hillary Clinton because I don't want those jokers in the White House.
You also have Republican candidates that have changed.
And you also have Republican candidates that as Greg points out, don't care who you sleep with or don't care what you smoke.
Where are they?
Rand Paul is one of them.
Rand Paul supports same-sex marriage? Does he? I don't know about
I don't
that.
think he does, which is weird.
Right.
I'm not sure if he supports it or hasn't come out for or against it.
Well, let me tell you, there's one other thing that there's the celebrity piece in Hollywood. Kimberly, I'll give you the last word on this. It's also even down to music. So at big events, when you have a rally and you want to get the crowd going, you actually, as a Republican, have to really think hard about which band you're going to play, because if you play Maroon 5, they'll call up and say, "Don't ever use my songs again." So you have to be think about that too.
They don't want to be connected. They don't want to be associated. So you have to just, get like 12 permission letters to be able to use someone's song. Otherwise, you're going to run afoul and you get a bad news story, which you don't want. It's just ridiculous. But if people equip themselves with the facts and prepared and studied.
That's a novel theory.
That's another victory, though, for the left, because what they're doing is they have connected the Republican Party to the sins of the past. So you have musicians who do not want to be embarrassed by making that linkage. They don't want to be embarrassed at a cocktail party, so they don't want their music played, because to them, the Republican Party represents things of the past that are embarrassing to them.
And it will hurt their brain.
Just play Dana Perino music, country music.
That's why they play country music.
Or Kid Rock. You got to stuff with Kid Rock.